Hey, you're listening to The Growth Signal. My name is Alyssa Nolte,
And I'm Aviv Benor.
and we're going to get right into it. Aviv, tell us, what is your hot take?
Hot take. Yeah, everything is perception.
Okay, I fully believe in like the universe bringing people together for an important conversation. Just this morning, I was on LinkedIn at 3 in the morning, my time, because I forgot that I agreed to do an awards judging thing, and it was 9 a.m. UK time, which is 3 a.m. my time. So I like panic got up, and I was writing an article this morning that I just posted on my LinkedIn literally like 4 hours ago about the idea of perception and how important it is to have a really good handle on that because my now 6 year old refuses to go to the country of Canada because when she was 4, there was Canadian wildfires that impacted our air quality, and her teachers
Really?
at daycare told her we couldn't go outside because of the Canadian wildfires, and she fully still believes that Canada is on fire. So her brand perception of Canada is that Canada's on fire, so therefore we cannot go on vacation to Canada.
Oh
And
wow.
it is amazing to me how businesses will do the exact same thing where they will have a perception and you really can't change it once it's set in stone. So tell me more about your hot take. Why do you think that perception is so important?
So for those who listen who don't know me, my background is in marketing. I'm a creative strategist. I work with clients like Intel, L'Oreal, Philips, Adidas, Facebook, Meta, like many more. And I basically help brands make more money with better ads. Now, in my opinion, a lot of companies go towards the quote unquote practicality of their product and lead with what our product does and whatever. When in reality, people don't care. And the ones who dominate the market are not necessarily the best products, but the ones, in my opinion, that control the perception and just being the loudest. So, uh, taking into account that this is reality and reality is very malleable. Um, and you can see it in a lot of places, then it leaves a lot of room for creativity when I work with a client. So, for example, if you look at, let's look at uh, a case study that I like to talk about is, um, what's the, what's their name? I forgot that vodka, famous vodka, Grey Goose. So, Grey Goose
Grey
vodka,
Goose, yes.
yeah, Grey Goose vodka. Um, they they were founded on the idea that there is no premium vodka and there's a gap in the market. And if we only create one, then people will flock. And I don't know how many years later, but they're now worth, I think, $4 billion. And the way that they did it was by convincing people that they're premium, but actually in blind tests, blind taste tests, they were last. And so the way that they did it was controlling all those points of perception. So, for example, they created a bottle that was too tall to fit in bottom shelves. And so grocery stores had to store them in the upper ones. That's one thing. Another thing is they shipped them instead of cardboard boxes like all other vodkas. They shipped them in wooden boxes, like expensive wines are shipped. Another thing is they put them in like famous TV shows and they put them in galas with celebrities and whatnot. And all these other things that they did created a perception. Oh, also put the label of France on that because France, fancy stuff. So all those things created a perception of high quality. And the last thing to put the premium stamp on that is that let's price it twice as much as the other vodkas because the automatic assumption that we do is like if something is more expensive that it must be better. So that's what they did and that's how they created a perception and now it's one of the biggest vodka brands in the world. So, in my opinion, that's a really good example of brand perception. But as you gave the example of your kid, perception, not just about marketing, but in everything. Is this
Yeah.
real? Not necessarily, but who cares? This is the perception. This what will make people act or not, or how they will act. So yeah,
I wanna, like, restate and, like, double click on something that you said when you were talking about this, and the idea that reality is malleable, I think is such a good thing for all of us to think about because, like with my 4-year-old, Canada's not still on fire. And yet her reality that day when she was 4 is she wanted to play outside and she couldn't because of Canada. And it's so funny because 'cause we'll literally say anything about Canada and she just gets this look on her face of, like, anger about this country. Like, we're gonna have to take her there and show her that Canada's indeed not on fire. It's okay. But the other thing is that there's a lot of ways, and I loved the example that you gave with Grey Goose about, simply making the bottle bigger so they have to put you on the top shelf. There's no other option, and starting with a higher price point goes against what so much of what we're kind of taught when it comes to marketing new products. A lot of people will come in with some low introductory price to get people to try it, right? Whether you're selling software or some kind of specific like actual tool or physical implement. And yet we put ourselves by doing that, we automatically put ourselves in a low quality, low value tier, whether we realize it or not, or whether even our customers realize it. That subconscious feeling of this is cheap, so can it really be good? Can it really be great?
exactly.
Um, I had a client, a very large software company who I will not name, because when we were doing research on their website, they were promoting, a brand new product. It was not something they had ever offered before. It had 4 different pricing tiers, and, we didn't know at the time that this was new for them. We were just kind of doing the UX research on the web page, and they had 4 different prices, and one of their prices had a little flag on the top that said "Most Popular." And so naturally, it got the most visual attention. People were most interested in that pricing tier. And they were talking all about how that's the one they would go with. They would go with that package over the others. And when we brought that to the table, we were like, well, is this your most popular tier? And they're like, no, we've never sold this before. This is a brand new product for us. But we put most popular on it because that's the one we want people to buy. It's the best margin. And that blew my mind in that moment that simply adding a little flag that says most popular made it the most popular. The
Yeah,
the perception became the reality even though there wasn't a reality to exist beforehand.
yeah. So this is a classic example. Again, personally, I don't think we should deceive, um,
Totally, that's why I'm not
and
naming
lie.
names in this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, look, it's very easy in marketing to lie your way up to success. And you see it in so many websites with fake testimonials.
Yeah.
But I personally believe that I don't work with clients that promote bad products with good marketing and then trying to salvage that with lies. That's just so common. It's so freaking common.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the
when I
hard part
land on a
too,
client that
it's gonna catch up with you, right? Like, it doesn't matter how if your marketing is great, that's wonderful. If your product is terrible, it is going to come out that it is terrible. And at some point, people will discover that they fell for something, and then it's gonna either get out to the rest of the community or they're not gonna renew. So when you're thinking about
100%. Marketing is just getting
yeah,
people out the door. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I have the best pizza in the world. Let's say you've never been lied to, so you're gonna believe me, and then you're gonna eat the pizza, and it's bad. Then you're not gonna come back, and you're
mhm.
gonna tell all your friends about it because bad news spread faster, in my opinion, than good news. So yeah, and it's now the barrier of entry to basically anything in the world, especially with AI, is nothing. So hey, let's just make another shitty product and go to market.
Well, and it's happening more and more too. And I think especially as people are bringing AI to market, I think we are going to find a lot of disappointed consumers when it comes to that because we've made a lot of promises with the AI products that we are that I'm seeing in the market, and I worry that AI as an innovative, revolutionary solution is going to get a bad rap, a bad long-term perception because we are over-promising and under-delivering on what it can do simply because we're in this, like, hype moment of being excited about it, and then people are gonna use it and either be, A, disappointed because they were promised something that wasn't real, or B, be disappointed because they didn't understand the technology enough to understand its capabilities and what the marketing was telling them, even if the marketing was truthful, if they didn't understand it enough to be effective users of the solution.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think if you want to talk about AI, we can go down that route. I just think it's a tool for now.
Yeah.
Until it's a long conversation. Until we get replaced, who knows? But for now, it's a tool. It's just like when before sugar came along, so only a few lucky people had sugar. So, for example, in England, only the rich society had sugar, and it made people teeth black. And yeah, because they
Mm,
ate sugar all day. And what happened was, by the way, another thing about perception, um, poor people started dyeing their teeth black to appear richer.
mm.
Again, perception. You wouldn't do it today, right? So,
No.
so in my opinion, going back to the AI analogy and sugar, so nobody had access to sugar, only rich people and their chefs, let's say, right? And their food was amazing. Now, all of a sudden, a few years later, sugar became available for everyone. Does that made chefs irrelevant? No. It just made the standards just got higher. And then there's this transition period where everybody's panicking, but then there's a new norm. And so I think we're in this transition period. Everybody's panicking, but we'll have a new norm. Everybody has this tool now. You're a photographer, you're a musician, you're whatever. If you use this tool, then your starting point is like everyone else. If you don't, you're automatically below. You can be romantic about it and stay there, or you can use it and start where everybody starts. But let's take two different people. One, just an average Joe trying to create, let's say, an ad for their brand, or a highly trained creative strategist that works with AI. Who's going to have a better result? So it's the same. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And I think that makes total sense. And especially as we, as people who are having conversations with customers, prospects, customers we're trying to get to renew, what do you think is the biggest blind spot that brands have when it comes to shaping the perception of their brand and how that impacts their customers?
Hmm. The first thing that I do with every client is having conversations with their customers, not surveys, conversations. Okay, let's talk with people who bought your product and are happy. Let's talk with people who buy and then churned, or almost bought and decided to not. And talking with those people, having 10, 15, 20 minutes conversations with those customers will give you the best marketing research you will ever have. Because these are the, you know, friend talking to a friend. It's like, when was the last time when you went to a restaurant and you told the waiter the truth? When the waiter came and was like, "Hey, how's the food?" You're like, "Yeah, great." And then 1 second later, you turn to your friends like, "This place is shit. I'm not gonna come. I'm not gonna come
Yeah.
back." Th- There's a blind spot they never see. But if okay, there's two things here. One, they want to see it. Not most people are afraid of feedback.
Yeah, for
So you have
sure.
to have this maturity to want feedback and then have the systems in place to actually get it. And once you have that, and you'll be amazed. I worked with a lot of big brands that don't do that simple thing. They have all these, Google Forms, surveys, and whatnot. But these are dry data points. Like you don't see the human behind it. So that is the, in my opinion, the one most important foundation stone.
I love your analogy there of, the waiter comes to your table, asks how your food is, and, you lie and say, "Oh, it's fine," and then, you don't actually do anything with it. One, as customers, we should be comfortable speaking up, and I do understand, like, as a chronic people pleaser, I will always be that one who's like, "Yeah, no, it's great, it's fine." But, the waiter could do something really simple, which is stand back and observe. Am I eating that meal? Am I pushing it around? Am I picking off other people's tables? Am I, like, not doing those things? But if you don't wanna know the truth, you're gonna just keep going about your day and focusing
Exactly.
on the thing next in front of you. And I think also if we as leaders who maybe, like, if the head chef is working these waiters so hard or hasn't created a way for them to take the time to really pay attention to those customers, like, if I'm busy, I might just have to be focused on my next table instead of trying to look back at the table I've already served. So we have to create ways for our team to develop those relationships, to stop and pay attention and observe, and give them kind of that freedom to ask the real question and then do something about it if it's not good. Like, if I tell the waiter my food isn't good, then I want them to be able to do something like offer me a comp or a replacement option, right? But we have to create the environment where our team can do that.
Exactly. It's just come from a place of wanting to improve. Even if you don't give anything back to the person who eats, you just take the feedback and improve 1% each day. I don't know. It's still an
Yeah.
amazing improvement.
And something I think not enough companies in today's day and age are willing to do, right? We're all moving so fast and changing so quickly. So how can we make sure that, we're really diving into how do we improve? On that note, thinking about the brands that you've worked with, what is like, is there like a secret hack or the first thing that you do with them to start bringing them down this path of developing a brand that really drives forward that relationship and represents them the way they want to be? What's like the first step we should take?
Look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm this, I don't know, amazing marketing guru. I have some experience. Um, I can share some from my small experience, telling you, hey, it's the research to actually know what's happening. So let's take away
Yep.
what we think is happening versus what really people think about our product. That's the first thing. The second thing is I always try to lead my customers, my clients towards creating a mission that's beyond the monetary incentive. So I'll give you an example. I had worked with a startup in Canada. It's a very fast growing startup. And the first thing that I help them do is what's called a core message. A core message in a company is one thing that helps everyone from the CEO to the janitor makes decisions, get like take decisions without consulting with the manager or whatever, because that is the core message of the company. So, for example, Southwest Airlines, they're famous for being the low fare airline. That's like their core message. And an example of that was when the marketing manager came to the CEO with this new thing that she saw everybody's doing. Hey, look, all the other airlines, they now have fried chicken in their meals. We should do it as well. And he turns to her and asks her, well, what's our core message? Will this help us be the low fare airline? And she immediately goes, nope. And he's like,
Yeah.
then you have your answer. That's it. And it's that simple.
Yeah.
It's not simple to get to the core message. The core message I help the startup company go to is that we care about the bottom. We care about our customers more than we care about the bottom line.
Yep.
Now, all the decisions that we drive come from that. Of course, it will benefit the bottom line as well, but we
Yes.
don't think bottom line first, then everything else. And
And
from
it's
that,
really
we
hard to
created a lot of
do.
product. What?
It's really hard to come up with that core message in a way that you really believe too. Like, that's a
Yeah.
lot of work to come to something that's truly gonna be a guiding light of your decisions, because I can say all day long, "Oh, I care more about my customers than my bottom line," but that's
No,
gonna
no,
be put to the test.
it has to come from your own DNA. Like,
Yeah, something
you
you
know?
truly believe and can live up to.
Yeah, you and by the way, you don't have to be a saint. What I just said was really resonating with the CEO because it
Mhm.
was really him. You need to think about what resonates with you. I think every brand at the end of the day is somewhat of a shadow or a really good representation of the founder.
I agree 1,000% with that, 100%.
Apple, in the good days.
In the good days, yes. On that note, thinking of the people that you know or aspire to know, who else is out there? Who else should we be paying attention to?
So I'm a very big fan of Rory Sutherland. He's a chairman of Ogilvy, which is one of the biggest marketing agencies in the world. He's just brilliant when it comes to psychology and perception and all that. So 100%.
And if someone is hearing this and they're really connecting with you, they wanna learn more, they wanna follow along with your journey, where can they find you online?
Yeah. So just on my Instagram. So it's Aviv Ben Or. Uh, Easy to find. I think I'm the only one.
Perfect, and I will put the link in the show notes too so people can go straight to your profile.
Amazing. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on the Growth Signal. This was an exciting conversation, I think one that had to happen today, based on everything that I'm seeing in the world too, so thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great to talk to you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.